Welcome to Spiritually Raw. We expose and explore controversial truths, myths, and theories surrounding the spirit world. Guests include QAnon experts, investigators, debunkers, and skeptics of the supernatural, unexplained, and flat out unimaginable. Content discussed on this show is not necessarily the opinion of the cast of Spiritually Raw, and topics quite often are for mature audiences only. This show is not intended to replace any medical, financial, or legal advice and is for entertainment purposes only. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Hey everybody, what's going on? I know you have a show to watch, so let me get real quick into this with you. Okay, so Ascended Masters you're watching right now, browse, select, ascend. It's very easy to use. All you have to do is scroll down here. You're going to see the different categories, sessions, courses, products, entertainment, books, conscious business growth. All you do is you simply click on the category that's resonating with you or that you're in need of, and you're going to see a video directory of some of the greatest minds out there. And within 5 to 7 minutes, you'll find out who that person is, what their style is, and if they're going to help you on your journey called life. It's a very easy formula to follow right here. And also too, if you're one of those who does have a product or service that you think that will be a benefit to others and you'd like to be on Ascended Masters, our email is in the description below. It's askspirituallyraw@gmail.com. We'll set up a time to chat and see how you can make a difference in the world for people. So hope you're enjoying the site, everybody. Thanks for sharing this, and much love to you. And most importantly, enjoy the show. We'll see you next time. Hello, everybody. How are you? And welcome to Spiritually Raw. And as always, thank you so much for your energy exchange with us today. And we hope you woke to the most miracle morning and are also having the most fortunate day today. Y'all remember Michael Feeley? He's back again. This is really cool. I know you loved him. He's got definitely a different view on what we're experiencing here, but a very refreshing view and very well thought out. And if you haven't checked out Michael, all of his links will be in the description below, so you can find out how to connect with him and really all of his works he's offering and making available to people to make your journey in life a much better place. So more about Michael, yeah?
Yes, but before we get there, if everyone could please just take a quick moment and hit the like and the subscribe button. And if you love the video, please do share it. We surely would all appreciate it very, very much. And in case, if you guys haven't already checked out Michael on spirituallyraw.live, definitely check out the last 2 shows that he did. They are off the charts. The first one was The Secret Jesus, and the second one was quantum imprinting, which they both were excellent. Okay, so who is Michael Feeley? He is a former. Now, if you hear Jay and I talking loud, that's because Michael's having a little bit of issue on his side. So don't, we're just speaking louder. Michael Feeley, he is a former UK police officer, and he is now an ancient code-breaker and spiritual coach. He's authored 7 books. He's had multiple UFO experiences, aliens, UFOs, so forth and so on. I mean, there's like a whole list. Make sure to check him out at michael-feeley.com, and we'll have all the links also in the show description. And today we're going to talk about something that we kind of wanted to do a few weeks ago, but scheduling the holidays. We're going to talk about what does Christmas mean, Easter, St. Patrick's. We're going to go all through everything because Michael has a very, very different interpretation of what the holidays represent, what the true meanings of them are, and what we've actually been taught that we think that what it means. So he's here to help clarify all that for us today.
So let's dive right in. Michael, welcome. How are you? And it's nice to see you again.
Thank you. I'm very well, and happy 2022.
Thank you. Likewise.
Notice how he didn't say Happy New Year, everybody. You noticed that, right?
There's probably a reason behind that.
We'll ask on that one. We just went down that rabbit hole with him. Okay, Michael, let's dive right in. So much to talk about, so little time. What Merry Christmas really? What does Merry Christmas mean? When people are saying Merry Christmas, what is exactly being said?
What you first of all have to understand is that anything biblical, anything Christian, anything Judaic, anything Kabbalah comes from Egypt. Now, Egypt is a Greek name for this land. It used to be the land of Nod. It's known as Kehemet, which basically means knowledge and truth. But you have to understand that all of these things come from Egypt, and they've been passed down through corrupted hands to mean something entirely different. Not to the ones who were teaching, or certainly the higher Arios, higher people within these places, but certainly the masses on the ground level believe that it's a certain thing, and it's not. It comes from somewhere else, as do all the holidays that we'll discuss during this talk. But the phrase Merry Christmas means pyramid burial. So when you have the likes of Egyptologists who come on the History Channel and different channels and tell you that the Great Pyramid was a burial tomb for a pharaoh, they are correct, but they're only giving you half the story, because they're not telling you what a pharaoh is, they're not telling you what the pyramid represents, and they're not telling you what the tomb represents. So in essence, a burial tomb for a pharaoh really means an illuminated mind, because the Great Pyramid represents probably the most powerful tool in the universe, which is the mind. Now, when we connect our mind, our Father, to the Heavenly Father, which is basically universal knowledge, you know, our Father who art in heaven. So we are talking about the connection between the highest knowledge, universal knowledge, that connects to the knowledge of the mind, the Golgotha, the place of skulls. And the Great Pyramid is a gigantic representation of the most powerful tool in the universe, which is the mind. So when we say Merry Christmas, we are pretty much saying pyramid burial. And that it probably of great surprise, because everybody uses the phrase Merry Christmas. We say it, every one of us says it. We say it every year. We say it leading up to 25th of December.
And we say it with great conviction in like, Merry Christmas.
Yeah. And that's, again, there's nothing at all wrong with these things. But what I like to introduce and what I look into is why, and where does it come from, and why are we doing it, and why do we believe a certain thing, because who is telling us to believe that certain thing. So I certainly like, as part of all the other things that I look into, it's important to me to also look into the origin of some of these sayings, some of these phrases. So Merry Christmas doesn't mean what you think it is. It's a pyramid burial.
So when we're saying with much conviction, as you said, and much happiness and grace, singing it, are we? And we're technically, are we vibrationally universally? Are we casting some sort of dark by saying pyramid burial? In theory, are we invoking anything? Are we energetically just creating just a different kind of energy, that the opposite energy of what is being intended?
Well, again, when you look into numerology, when you look into geometry, when you look into the vibrations that are really a reality behind a reality, these temples, these monuments were created by sound. Now, the Great Pyramid was created by the universal creator. So what we have in the exact center of Earth's landmass, the exact center, we have a message that has been left to lift humanity from the slumber of self-blindness. And in order to lift ourselves and elevate ourselves from this slumber, from this self-blindness, we have to use the mind. And again, going back to that is what the Great Pyramid represents. So it's telling us that we have a choice. Now, when you look at the Grand Gallery and you look at the descent and you look at the ascent, that is the choice that we have: to remain in ignorance, to remain in darkness, or to ascend into the knowledge, into the light. So when we are uttering certain things, there are secret passages and there are secret entrances to the Great Pyramid. One of them is at the top, south facing. Now, when you utter certain words in a certain vibration, in a certain sequence, on a certain day, at a certain time, these rocks move and they open to reveal secret passageways. Now, when you see the old, like Sinbad and the old sort of these Arabian films of the past, and they say open sesame,
right?
And sesame is a password. So when you have the correct password, some of the rocks that are hidden within the Great Pyramid, they slide away and they move to reveal entrances and exits. Now, if you want to exit, you have to say these key words in reverse. So there's a lot of tonal vibration. There's a lot of things, everything is through the preciseness of one. So we have the whole of the world's monoliths and monuments that all respond and are all connected to the preciseness of one. The preciseness of one is the Great Pyramid, which is created. Now, the reason we have 9 pyramids, or one of the reasons we have 9 pyramids, is the number 9 is the father of all, which is the creator's mind, which created all of this. So it's leaving the universal code, the fingerprints of number 9. We also have many, many other numbers like number 7. Within the Great Pyramid, a lot of the measurements, which are really a documented history of humankind from beginning to end, that is held within the library of the Great Pyramid in secret chambers. But there's a lot relating to the number 7 and combinations of number 7. So for argument's sake, it's 7 minutes past 2 or 7 past the 14th hour. They are a combination of 7. 7 plus 7 plus 7 is 21. 14 plus 7 is 21. So we have combinations of 7. Now, my trail of thought is that these hold a vibration. When we look at the gods of the ancient past and we look at their names and we look at why they've been reduced to a tetragrammation, is because they are magic formulas. They are magic formulas that evoke certain energies and certain entities into this world. And these entities and these energies that come into this world, they come into a sacred shape. That is the triangle or the square or the circle. Now, when you look at all the monoliths and monoliths around the world, they are triangular, the Trinity, which is the infinite mind, or they are the square, which is an esoteric code for the truth. So they're coming in. So everything in this world, everything in creation has a vibration. There are numbers behind geometry. It is the reality beyond reality. So at certain pitches, at certain frequencies, you are evoking, and you can also elevate or you can destroy with these tones, with these pitches.
And
so when we are saying things,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, so when we are saying things, depending upon the tone in which we are saying them and depending upon the intent in which they are said, it obviously creates the world, that, you know, the word becomes flesh. We create our reality.
Okay, so I had a question about the pyramid and the burial in reference to the words Merry Christmas, but I'm going to hold off on that for 1 second, because where did the whole concept of Santa Claus, like where did this idea of Santa Claus with flying reindeer and the elves, where did that all come from?
Well,
and why?
And as you eloquently call it on your side of the pond, Father Christmas, right?
Yeah. Everything that I've found in research and downloads, every single festival, every single thing that we honor, we are privileged to say, we are excited to say, none of it means what we think it means. Now,
That's true.
Santa Claus is no different, because some of the things I'm about to say now are confirmed in Gray's Anatomy, the Gray's Medical Dictionary. When you look at Santa Claus is the holy colostrum that lives in the North Pole, which is the top of the head. Now it comes down the chimney where you have the white matter, which is the snow, etc., etc., and it gives the gifts of knowledge. Now, when you start looking at the likes within the brain of such as the cerebellum, in Gray's Medical Dictionary, that is known as the reindeer. So what Santa Claus is really telling you is the gift of knowledge from the North Pole. And that is really the whole of Santa Claus. It comes down the chimney, which is the sort of tunnel in the mind. And this is all about enlightenment, as is everything else. So when you look at the mind itself, you know, you have, by the pineal gland, you have something called the fornix. The fornix is the furnace. It is the fire in the middle. What does pyramid mean? Fire in the middle. So we have this fornix, the burning bush of Moses. Now, next to that, you have what is known as a vault. Now, when you look at a definition of vault, it is a tomb, it is a cave, it is a grave. So when certain things happen within the body and the Christ is resurrected in the body, we have Easter and the resurrection of Christ in the tomb of the mind, the fornix. Now, Santa Claus is coming down from the north, whereas the Christ is coming up from the root chakra through the different chakras to rest in the fornix, which is the tomb inside the mind. It is all about enlightenment. It is all about illumination of the mind. Golgotha, the place of skulls. So even Santa Claus has an illumination story behind it, which is confirmed. by Gray's Medical Dictionary.
Mhm.
So that's good
All
then,
right,
Santa Claus.
that's
So
not a bad thing.
that's good on that. That's a fascinating way. The furnace, the chimney. I mean, how you connect those dots. That's very fascinating on that.
Can I ask real quick?
Yeah.
Who or what group? Where did Santa Claus or Kris Kringle, whatever you want to call him, who or what group came up with this entire fantasy, so to speak, of this entity called Kris Kringle, Santa Claus?
Well, everything in history has been hidden, from us. Now, if you imagine that you want to be the best chef and you don't want anybody else to be better than you or to know more about being a chef than you do. So what do? You hide the ingredients. You hide the method of making the cake. So if you are in control, and you are in control because of your advanced knowledge, the last thing you want to do is allow the masses to know the same as you. So what do? You hide the ingredients. So you hide the ingredients in fictional stories that are taught to be true. You hide the truth several layers deep within the words, within the sentences, within the parables. You give people a false impression of what the monoliths and monuments mean and what they stand for. And you basically create this fake facade just to stop anybody getting the ingredients and the know-how to make a better cake than you. So it's these people who have falsely represented the truth. Now, when you look at what is biblical Satan, what is the biblical devil? Well, the biblical Satan and the biblical devil is anything that takes you from the truth. Now, that can be politics, that can be religion, that can be news. So the Gnostics, the enlightened ones, realized that the best way to avoid Satan and the devil was to become illuminated, was to become knowledgeable, because then you're not being steered away from truth. Now, when you look at the origin of the word sin, it means to miss the mark. That mark is that little gland between the eyes called the third eye, the pineal gland. That is the seat of knowledge. So if you reach there, then you are not a sinner. You are avoiding the devil, you are avoiding Satan, because that's not taking you anywhere other than the truth. And that really is how we have this false persona, these false stories, these masqueraded sort of festivals and everything else. Father's Day, which is the summer solstice. You have Mother's Day, which goes into to the Great Mother, to Isis and different things. And we have all of these festivals that relate in a secret way to things that we don't even think about. And that really is how they've really duped everybody into believing what they want us to believe. And because we always see the same geometry, because we're always seeing the same codes, because all of us are seeing the same symbols, we basically are having an accepted reality, because these symbols connect to the subconscious mind. Yes.
Right.
And because it contacts with the subconscious mind, then the subconscious mind doesn't know what is real and what isn't. So to the subconscious mind, everything is real. It can't tell the difference. So if you're telling your subconscious mind something, it believes that to be real. And that really is the law of attraction and how you create your reality. But because we are accepting the reality that we are given, everybody's living under an accepted reality that is not the true reality. And that comes into knowledge, that comes into wisdom, that comes into the world that we believe to be real.
So when people were to, let's say, for example, they're living under this accepted reality and they're watching this right now, and they start to,
it's a great way to put it,
to I guess reverse engineer their thoughts, or maybe saying, or just accept in this way, as how does that, with this knowledge that you're sharing with us today, how does that, and if everybody were to say, everybody watching this were to say, okay, we are now resonating exactly what he's saying right here, how does that change one's life? How does it change the existence, and how does their reality change from this, from your perspective? And does this do something, if there's enough collective consciousness there energetically, to the framework of the universe, if you would, of how we're receiving and how we're living?
Well, how does it affect their reality? I'll give you a story that I once read. And there's two men walking along the beach, and there's hundreds of starfish have been washed ashore, and they're going to perish because they're not in the sea. And one of the men bends down, picks up a starfish and throws it back into the sea. And his friend says, why did you do that? What is the point? What difference does it make? And he replied by saying, well, it's made a difference to him. So with every single person that realizes the truth, with every single person that begins to practice the truth and resonates with the truth, it makes a difference to them. Now, when you have a collection of vibrations, we are then going into, should we say, a new era of humanity. Now, when you look at some of the secret chambers and some of the catalogued, documented history of mankind, it tells you that this is now the sixth race. Now, the pyramid capstone will be replaced by the seventh civilization. And the return of the Messiah, the return of the Christ, is the pyramid capstone because it is the completion of the divine knowledge. So what we are seeing at the moment, and you can feel it more because of what has been happening over the last 15, 18 months with isolation and house arrest, is this sixth civilization is beginning to separate between those who know, those who can see through it, and those who don't, and those who are not concerned to even look into the truth. And I can personally feel and see a gigantic schism, the side of the Grand Canyon, beginning to open up. Now that to me indicates that the seventh civilization are the ones who are tapped in and tuned in into the frequency of truth and knowledge. And it is that civilization that will complete the pyramid capstone, the return of the Messiah, which is the return of illumination. When you look at...
So, Michael, the return of the Messiah, you're not saying it as a physical being, you're talking about it as a global consciousness?
Yes, because when you look at what Christ is, Christ is the human name for God. So what it is telling us is that God is within us. Now, the word God relates to the four elements. So when we master our four elements, we basically become the pentagram, which is the fifth element, because creation is the number 10. Half of 10 is 5. And because man is the microcosm of the macrocosm, we complete ourselves by the number 5, which is the four elements plus the ether. That is the star of Bethlehem. That is the symbol of the sacred mysteries.
Right.
So God is the four elements within us, and the human name for God is Jesus Christ. Now, when you start looking at all the composite, numbers of the pyramid, when you look at what Horus is in Egypt, Horus is basically the external light that modifies the internal light. Now, the internal light is the Christ within. So the second coming, the return of the Messiah, the return of the illumination of the mind, is a civilization thing. It is a humanity thing. It is not one individual thing. So when we start tapping in to the vibration of truth and the higher knowledge that the Great Pyramid is teaching us, then we become the Christ on earth. We become the Messiahs on earth. We become the sons of God, because God is expressed through the Son. The Father is always expressed through the Son, and that is what it is telling us, and that is what the Great Pyramid is telling us. Because of man's self-inflicted blindness, he cannot interpret what the Great Pyramid and the other pyramids are telling him or her. But there were certain ancients who could, and there are certain people in the modern world who can interpret and decipher the sacred teachings of the Creator itself. And that is within that singular formula, which is the Great Pyramid of Egypt.
Man, I could listen to you all day, brother. You
What's inside your head is mind-boggling.
I tell you. Well, earlier in the show, you had mentioned that a lot, and if I'm out of context on this, please correct me. But I gathered that a lot of it's connected to the Egypt, right? So the teachings of Egypt is what we're connected to. So when you take a look at like a holiday like St. Patrick's Day, which you think from Ireland, my first question to you, is that a legitimate holiday in Ireland? Number one, and number two, what would be the connection between Egypt and Ireland, and how would that specifically relate to those two continents, countries connecting together?
Of course. Well, first of all, through liquid light, they were able to create portal to portal not only to the stars, but to certain locations on Earth and to certain locations within the center of Earth. So that the connection between Egypt and Ireland, well, we have the Emerald Tablets of Egypt. We have the Emerald Isles of Ireland. We have Ire, E-I-R-E, which means eye. So we have the land of the eye, or eye land. We have Osiris, which means open eye, which is talking about the pineal gland. So we have all the emerald and green. When you look at St. Patrick, Patrick originates from the word pater, which is father, which again, going back to what I said originally, father is the mind. So we have Osiris, who is the third eye. Patrick, pater, is the father. Osiris is known as the green man. St. Patrick was dressed in green. Now, according to Egyptian mythology, Osiris was killed on the 17th Afia, which is basically the third month of the ancient calendar. So there we have 317, which gives us the 17th of March, which is St. Patrick's Day. So we have all of these different correlations between Ireland and Egypt. We, of course, have the likes of Queen Scotia, who's reported to have come over to Ireland, the British Isles, and created the Irish royal bloodline, of which I am connected, I am related. So if you look at my bloodline, it goes all the way back to the Celtic Irish kings, which when you trace that even further back, it comes to Queen Scotia of ancient Egypt. So we have a lot of correlation between Ireland and Egypt by name, by monuments, by portal to portal travel. So it is a legitimate, however, it is a Masonic created festival that the people of Ireland and the people of the world are told relates to this, when in reality, it relates to Osiris. Now, the reason that Osiris is important to Masonics or Masons is because the first Mason, Hiram Habith, which is really a metaphor for, again, for the illumination of the mind, but the first Mason, Hiram Habith, they believe was an incarnation of Osiris. Now, the symbol of Osiris is the obelisk, and that is why in every Masonic place you have an obelisk. So it is a Masonic, again, it is a festival that is masking a true meaning, where people are celebrating something else entirely, when really they are celebrating an infiltration of truth.
That's right.
So
Wow.
celebrating an infiltration of truth. Wow, that is something.
Getting back to Christmas real quick. December 25th and December 24th, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Of course, the tale has always been that was Jesus's birth. Who knows really when he was born? Sometimes people say March, who knows, you know, whatever, if that's even true, we don't know. But what is the significance of December 24th and December 25th, really?
Hello, everybody. How are you? Much love to you. It's very good to see you and hang out with you. I hope you're having a fantastic day here. So let me give you some updates about what's going on with Spiritually Raw. So as you can see right here, right, a new facelift. I hope you like it. Okay, so this is the new facelift, the image of the site. So watch, evolve, ascend. It's very cool, very streamlined. Everything's broken down in very easy catalogs, playlists for you to watch whatever kind of topic you're looking for to help you on your journey called life. So let's check it out together. All right. So literally here you go, the home page right here. You can scroll down. If you're already a member, same login and password as you normally do. If you're not, you can click right here, join now, get a 3-day free trial, check out and binge on the whole network as much as you want. I hope you like it, and I'm sure you will, but that's 3 days on us. Okay, so don't forget to check that out if you're not already. Here's some videos that are recent that we just put up there that you'll be able to check here. Now, also too, I want to go back here real quick, catalog. So this is how we've broken it down for you. Super simple and very easy playlist, new releases, intuitive psychic mediums, the Great Awakening, metaphysical, current events, 2020 videos for those of you who want to take a trip down memory lane and see how that all worked out. Prosperity, special report, I mean, so on and so forth. I mean, it goes on and on and on. We have really brought together the best minds out there that are coming in to entertain us, but then to break it down so simple, again, to help us on our journey called life. So this is really cool here. So also, I want to point out here for those of you who have actually said, hey, you know, I do want to have my own show. We also have a master course preview, and that's there to designed to teach all of you who would like to have your own show, or maybe even need some help in being interviewed when you are on other shows too. But let's go down a little further. I want to show you something else. So for all of you out there who have Roku, you simply need to click here and you can now watch us on Roku TV. Coming soon within the coming weeks, within probably a week or so, you'll see us on the iPhone, Apple. We're streaming everywhere. You'll be able to download the app soon on Apple. But as of right now, like I said, you can stream us anywhere there. So, and these are some examples of the topics that you're going to be watching when you do go to spirituallyraw.live. So thank you very, very much for hanging out with us as you always do. Really do hope you are having the most miracle mornings and are having the most fortunate days. And this really is bringing you a lot of value. And again, helping you on your journey called life. So thanks again, and we will see you all next time.
We'd like to share a story. While it may sound fictional, it's very real and happening right now in front of our very eyes. It's called The Great Awakening. Our sisters and brothers that come on Spiritually Raw are doing everything to help expand global consciousness, and in many cases putting everything on the line to share their messages about what's happening around the world for the greater good of humanity, while exposing the truth of the deep state and the dark forces behind it all. We are living in the most unbelievable times. Some may even say biblical, scary for many and yet exhilarating for others. Together we are taking part in getting everyone acclimated to the Great Awakening process and the exciting new discoveries that lie ahead. The sad part is many of our amazing guests are being heavily censored, socially shamed, and outright banned on many platforms for exposing the truth and piercing the veil. By becoming a viewer, you bring your powerful energy towards this global movement of other truth seekers. If you're resonating with our show, please let us know by hitting the like button, sharing, subscribing, turn on the notification, and leave some comments. Together, we will turn the universal key to global harmony and create a unified world. And remember, tune in often, tell all your friends, and most importantly, may all your dreams come true. Thanks, and God bless Patriots worldwide.